What's up, team? Coach Abraham with Armor Strength and Conditioning, back at you with another video. This is part 2 of how footballers are lifting wrong. So essentially, I really just want to dive into how you can maximize your performance whenever we go to the gym. I want you to start thinking of the gym, strength training, lifting weights in a different way. It's not just about trying to lift weights and grow your muscles and make you stronger. So much goes into that, and there's little components that a lot of footballers are missing that never do in the gym, which is limiting your potential. And the whole point of going to the gym, right? The gym supplements your game, right? So if we do everything that we're supposed to be doing, it will transform you into a more dominant player. So let's get into it, guys.
Yeah, top of the morning, I know that you thought I was dormant. Woke up early from shots that was swarming the block.
So the first thing I want to go over, which I've mentioned in the past, and maybe you're aware of this, is the force velocity curve. So I posted this on my Instagram, exercises that you can do that utilize that. One huge component when lifting weights is we want to increase our force production. Right after increasing force production, can we produce forces at high velocities? And there's many exercises along the curve that you can use. So I posted this on my Instagram. Shout out to Science for Sport. I'm gonna have it right here on the screen. Starting from the very top, maximum strength. Then we go to strength speed, right? And you'll see the exercises right there on the list. These are exercises you need to be incorporating in strength training, in the gym. If you are not doing that, guys, you're limiting so much of what you can do. So what this is gonna do is help create an explosive athlete, right? We wanna be strong, we wanna be fast, right? That is power. To simplify, a strong but not very fast athlete should focus more on the bottom part of the curve. And if you're a fast athlete but not as strong, focus more on the top half of the curve, right? So again, guys, these are gonna be all the exercises that you can use. Now, how do you periodize this? I know things can get confusing, but let's do this. I always mention do things in phases. Whenever you do things in phases, you know that you're gonna be focusing on a specific aspect, okay? So let's use the example of a player who is pretty fast but not as strong. We're gonna wanna focus a lot on maximum strength. And I know that says 90 to 100% of 1 RM, right? But anything that will count as max strength training. So anything between 70 to 100% of your 1 rep max. You always wanna do some sort of strength training within that range, right? Now, for the emphasis of this phase, you can begin at strength speed or Olympic lifts, such as the snatch, the clean. One of my favorite exercises, the biggest bang for your buck, easy to do, easy to learn, is the hang high pull. This is an exercise that's gonna provide a whole lot of power. So real quick, what you see here is the peak power from a hang power clean and a hang high pull, right? And you can see the significant differences at lighter loads. You can produce more power in the hang high pulls, right? This is why you should include this exercise, easy to use with a big bang for your buck. After this phase, then we wanna go into peak power. So these are gonna be exercises such as trap bar jumps, bench press throws for the upper body. So we're gonna stick between 30 to 80% of your 1 rep max for the power exercise. And guys, and when in doubt, progressively add load, right? A trap bar is 20 kilograms, add another 10 on each side. If you feel you can keep on adding a little bit more, as long as you're able to jump up pretty explosively, that's when you know you're doing things right, okay? If you have 100 kilos, 200 kilos, you probably won't be able to jump that, all right? So just kind of think of it like that. The next 4 weeks, we're gonna go into speed strength. So these are lighter loaded jumps. So maybe you have a weight vest and now you're going into kind of movement jumps. And another thing, guys, you always wanna be hopping, bounding, and sprinting, okay? So the two things you always wanna be doing is the maximum strength and the maximum velocity. That's the thing you wanna do year round, right? These other exercises, we supplement in phases like I just mentioned. And again, big shout out to Science for Sport for the model. Those guys are awesome. And guys, like something I want to stress about the gym is that, you know, I know there's a bunch of things going on. Like I've been reading recently of there's certain practitioners that say don't lift weights, right? When you look at the top professionals in the field, right? And I mean, guys that really dive into the science of why we should, it's much more complex than that. If you're just somebody who goes to the gym and does 3x10, 3x12, 4x10, and that's all you're doing, I think you are hindering your potential after a good amount of lifting, right? So once you're done past that beginner stage, that's when you got to change up your lifting, right? Because you got to ask the question, is lifting weights, is getting stronger actually making me faster? right? And a lot of times that's where you hit that plateau. I've gotten athletes who have said, yo man, I've hit a plateau, I don't know what to do. I ask, okay, what have you been doing? And I see their program and I say, okay, well, you know what? There's no power, right? How are you supposed to be a better, faster, explosive athlete if you're not including any power into that, right? That just doesn't make sense to me. Again, we gotta start thinking of the gym very differently. Also, another thing, players wanna go into the weight room, they wanna gas out, they wanna feel the pump. You're probably in the wrong field if that's what you care about. I stress this out, you're a player, you're not a bodybuilder, right? If you really wanna feel the stress of the muscles, your veins popping out, all that stuff, again, guys, go to a different field, right? Because obviously this is not for you. So another thing, and I have my board right here for my notes. So another thing, guys, is machines. I don't hate machines, but the more specific, the more functional we can make an exercise, the better. For example, if you're doing leg presses, which is where you're on your back and you're pushing the weight up in the air with your feet, right? Ask yourself, when are you on your back and having to do that on the field? In comparison, if you're doing a squat, right? And again, our whole goal for a squat is to get strong so you can produce force, right? And then what do we do after we produce force? We want to move it explosively, right? Then we add on a power exercise, right? But again, find exercises that are specific, right? Nothing is more specific than single leg. The rear foot elevated split squat or the Bulgarian split squat. I love that one. That one really targets everything. So again, that's another thing. That's another way to start thinking of the gym, right? Think of the movements. Don't just think of gassing out the muscle. Whenever we are training the core, start doing exercises that are anti-flexion, anti-extension, anti-rotation, right? Crunches are good. If you are to do crunches, do them at the very end. But we want to do exercises that are going to help brace that core, right? Whenever we are going for a kick, what do you think is happening? The core needs to be able to stabilize yourself, but also produce high forces, right? So even start doing exercises that are explosive to the core. And last little thing before I make this video 30 minutes long, be dynamic with your mobility. I posted a video, my top 5 favorite mobility exercises that work on athletes. These are mobility drills I use on my athletes almost every single day, and they have proven to work tremendously. These are the ones that you want to do, not just, you know, like, yeah, some stretches are very good, like your basic ones, like inchworms and like inverted hamstring stretches. Start adding others that are really gonna expose like your hip, like controlled articulated rotations, right? Those will expose the hip socket, the muscle will be gaining mobility while we are strengthening that as well. So guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. This is part 2. If I come up with something else that I need to add, you best believe I'm gonna add it part 3. So stay tuned, guys. Hit that subscribe and that notification bell to stay tuned. Drop down any comments you may have. Like the video if you are interested in my training programs, online custom programs built for you, built for your schedule. Make sure you head to my Instagram and DM me, or just go out here and you can purchase them yourself. So guys, again, thank you so much for watching. Until next time.